But then it faded, but I rock it like a baby in a coat. I put the water in the ocean in the city that I'm from. I like the room in the dark cause my blink is a touch. I watch fashion night today in the mirror that I saw. She be not to ball, we go ball. Flex the tall. I go set to the front. No return. And when I enter the club, no they my front. Cause me I get it gone. No they do me wrong. Oh, I'm a fashion killer, yeah. I got much to deliver, yeah. When I pass you shiver, yeah. Emma Ascotica, yeah. I'm a fashion killer, yeah. I got much to deliver, yeah. When I pass you shiver, Emma Ascotica. Image, picture a shiny on my head. I see the diamonds wet everywhere.
That's what you are, girlfriend. You are a fashion killer. And that's what we're doing today. It's all about you, Azori. So hi, everyone. Hi, social media world. Hello. This is your girl, Beverly Francois, owner of BSF Design, and your host today for Interview with the Expert. Our expert today is Azori. Woo!
Hey, everybody.
Yes, my fashion princess, my fashion queen. How are you today?
I'm good. I can't complain. What about yourself?
Hey, good. I'm really excited to interview you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how you got started. We're going to touch on your personal shopper, stylist, that piece. And then we're going to move over to your brand, Azori by 24.
Yes.
Okay? Yes. Woo-hoo. So our guest today, Azori Campbell, she is a wardrobe stylist and a personal shopper and the owner of a unisex high fashion streetwear brand, Azori by 24. And I am like so excited to have you here today. We're gonna talk. I want to start off first by giving some kudos to things that you have already done. So, being your background is huge. I mean, you have a lot of things that you have done in the past when it comes to styling. So I can get into some names. I can get into some entertainers, NFL players, etc., etc. But first, I wanted to ask you, how did you? What made you start off or move into the world of styling and doing personal shopper? Where did that come from? What's the background behind that?
When I first started, well, I think I kind of got pushed into it accidentally. But then when I started doing it, I definitely enjoyed it. So at the time, I was, let me see, about 18, no, I was about 19. I was about 19. And I did an event, and Travis Green's manager just so happened to be there. So my mom kind of introduced me to him, and I got acquainted with him. And he was basically like, well, Travis needs a stylist for a tour he has coming up for a couple dates. At the time, I didn't really have a budget. So I kind of had to work with what was in his closet. And I basically put together a whole bunch of fits with stuff he already had and kind of just went from there. Very unexperienced, but I definitely made it work. And I think some of the outfits that I did put out were kind of ahead of its time in a sense. So I I never really was the type to follow trends, but I kind of knew I had a gift when I would go to school and I would dress up every day, and I would notice like some people would try to mimic those outfits. So that kind of inspired me to lead into the path that I'm in right now.
So that's awesome. So this is something you started from young, because I can't say that I can go back several years, because you are how now? Do you mind me giving your age?
Um,
Because you
I
are young.
no, I don't mind. I just turned 24, June 24th to be
Yeah.
exact. So yeah, I'm 24.
Yes. And it's you started this when you were probably as a teenager.
Yeah, like 19. But I
19.
always loved fashion though. Like
Yeah.
even when I really think about it, starting from when I was a kid, if you want to be quite honest. But I didn't really realize I was a passion. I just like shoes, you know? So I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that's not something I really was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do as a career path. I just more so was like, wow, I really like shoes and I really like clothes. So I didn't really think fashion was going to be my path. But when I do look back at it, like I would always be in my grandmother's stuff and my mom's closet and putting together stuff and being really creative with that. So, I mean, looking back now, I could kind of see how it flowed into that. But this wasn't always like a main choice for me, truthfully.
Got you. Got you. Makes sense. So here are some names that I'm going to mention.
Okay.
JoJo.
JoJo?
Yeah, JoJo, which
Tiller?
is yes, he's an athlete.
Yes.
Jalen Kennedy.
Yes.
Am I pronouncing his name correctly? See, I'm not
Correct.
big on the NFL and sports and stuff. I'm not into the NFL. My fiance is into that stuff, so he knows these names. I'm really like lost in the sauce. But you have names that these are people who wear your brand.
Yeah.
Or people who you have kind of mixed with and have been their stylist and their personal shopper. People like Gabby Cunningham, which is I saw her with
Yes.
one of your, hoodies. She's an
Yeah,
Olympic.
she's an Olympian, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Travis Green, we know you started off working with him. Um,
Mhm.
Vino Gang.
Vino Gang.
He's a
I'm
rap
not sure about
artist,
him.
very popular, big
Oh
influencer.
well,
He
does he
wore
have some of
some
my
of your
stuff?
shirts. Yeah, he had on one of your brands, pretty much. Um,
Oh. Oh,
yeah,
oh, Vino. Yeah, long
Vino.
live Vino. Vino
There
was
you
actually
go.
he's from here.
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, Vino. 18 Vino.
Yes.
Yes. Cardinals,
Amari
Arizona.
Rogers.
Mhm.
Cornell Powell.
Yep, Green Bay.
Yep.
Chiefs, Kansas City.
That's right. Zia Cookie or Cook, if I'm pronouncing her name right.
Oh,
Women
Zaya
basketball.
Cook. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. She's
So
about
it's
to
a.
go to the
I mean,
league
I could
too.
go on and
Yep.
on with some of the names and people who you've worked with, but you have a large repertoire, portfolio of people who you have styled and have shopped for and who wear your brand. And for someone who is
Yeah.
24, that is a major accomplishment. There are people who are your age right now or older that are not in that opportunity and really want to get into this styling field or into the whole styling background and
Mhm.
how how do they get into something like that, and what would be the advice that you would give to them, like if there are someone right now watching, what would be an advice you would give to them on getting into the fashion
Styling.
industry or the fashion world?
The main thing is honestly networking. Networking is probably the main thing that is going to get you where you want to go. Of course, knowing people is a plus, but everybody doesn't have that luxury to just know people. So networking and being open and finding mentors and people who are in that industry, even if you have to start in a just a regular store like Forever 21, H&M, whatever, just to get that experience under your belt working in retail. That gives you the opportunity to work with people. That gives you the opportunity to eventually meeting buyers and people who are on their headquarters. So it just, everything is about truthfully just networking, honestly, and put yourself out there. If you go to a concert, so to say, and you decide, oh, I want to go backstage and I guess, pay for a meet and greet. Like sometimes you have to pay for the investment, but at least, you put yourself out there and they may or may not remember your face. It's all about a risk at the end of the day. So the most I could say that helped me was just networking and just putting myself in front of the right people and just, you know,
Just
having that.
getting it, yeah, and then also
Yeah,
being at that space at the right place at
right
the
time.
right time.
Right. That plays a big part.
Yeah, and the things that you say when you do meet that potential person, it's like
Right.
you never know, right?
You just never know.
So
So
you
even
just
even
never
if you're
know.
in a random place
Yeah,
and always just have a positive attitude because you just never know who you're gonna run into. Like you just never know.
yeah.
Honestly, you'll never know who you'll run into.
Just like you when you did with the Tavis Green.
Yeah,
Um,
Kirko
you had
Banks too. And that's another
yeah.
person people don't know about. With Kirko Banks, I met him CIAA week. Randomly, I didn't even know who he was at the time. I couldn't put a face with a name. But we just started talking and we got acquainted or whatever. And I told him what I did. At the time, I was in college. So, yeah, just being in those places where people are going to be and not saying, oh, I'm purposely going to run into so and so, but just be open because you just never know who you will meet. And that could be somebody to open a leeway to where you want to go. So,
So,
yeah.
what are some of your regrets, Azori, in starting out?
Um,
What are some? Because I know we all have those. I don't care who you are. If you are an
yeah.
entrepreneur, small business, we have regrets. And what is one of your main regrets when you started out as a stylist or a personal shopper, or even in your branding? When you started to
Um,
brand yourself and you brought out all of your fashion clothing, what was something you regretted doing?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say I would have any regrets as far as that goes, just because I feel like if I would have changed my path, I wouldn't be on the path that I am now. I think everything had a reasoning for um, playing out the way that it did. Like I used to say, oh, my biggest regret was staying local and not going somewhere further, like straight out of high school. I used to always say that. But now looking back, I'm like, if I would have changed my direction of path, would I be as far as I am now? We don't know. So I don't really say I regret anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but originally, like coming out of high school, I wanted to go to FIT. It didn't work
Mm,
out that way. So I had to
right.
settle for something that at the time I didn't want to be there, but I made the best out of that situation. And it led me to meeting I am DJ Kid's sister, who her name is Autumn. She's also a stylist. She kind of put me in position to network with more people, and that's how I got the opportunity to work with Chris Smith at Fashion Week, and then that opened up doors to me working with Romeo Hunt, Naomi Styles, Queen by E Collections, just a whole bunch of people who works with people way bigger than me, like Beyonce, Rihanna, First Lady, just everybody. So I wouldn't say I have any regrets. The only thing I could really say is just I could just keep pacing forward and just do what I have to do, navigate and keep God first and navigate my way through where
Say
I'm
that
trying to
again.
go.
Keep who first?
Keep God first
That's
and
right.
Him navigate me to where I'm supposed to be.
Yes,
So
yes,
I don't
yes.
really have any regrets, truthfully.
How does your childhood look like, Azori? Your childhood, your education, your family? Because I am very familiar with your family background, and I know it's very humble. They are Southerners, and you have some here in Philadelphia. Give us, but they're rich in the background. Their background is rich also in the entertainment industry. I know your dad does business, so your granddad. So tell me a little bit about your background, your childhood, your education.
Okay. Well, I went to Dutch Fork High School. Um, that high school is kind of known for like football. It's a couple people who's made it out of that high school who now is in the
Nope.
NFL. But as far as my background goes, I do come from a family that my grandfather does own radio stations in Columbia and around South Carolina. And I've gotten the opportunity to network and meet a lot of people through him as well. But nobody took the direction I took, so I kind of created my own pathway for that. So if I wanted to be in the music industry, and it probably would be a little easier, but that's not really the path I took. But yeah, everybody, that's kind of it. Just come from a family who my grandfather owns a lot of radio stations. Actually, he was the first black man, African American, to put gospel music on the radio 24 hours throughout the day. So
Wow.
yeah, so he's been
That
honored by a
is
lot
an
of.
accomplishment. My God.
He's
That
been
is
honored by a lot of people.
yeah.
He's very connected in the music industry and in the industry as well. So
Wow.
yeah.
That is such a great information. Wow. And that's historical. That that
Yeah.
that right there says something. So you've come
Yeah.
from that good root where it was important for you to make your own way and you chose fashion because
Right.
there were so many different avenues that you could have chosen. You chose the fashion industry, but it suits you well. It really does, even
Thank
in
you.
the way you carry yourself.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
I can see that. It's like something that you actually like. It's that thing. Even if you have to go to the shop or anywhere, you're always fashionable. So I can definitely see that. If you were to wear a designer for life, which would it be?
You said which would it be?
Yeah.
Um.
If you were stuck and oh my God, I have to do this one designer for life, and I have to make a choice of the designer, what will that designer be?
I probably would say, oh, that's kind of hard. I probably would say Louis Vuitton, truthfully.
Really?
Louis Vuitton, just because of who all they collaborate with.
The versatile.
Either them or
Versatile.
yeah, the
Yeah.
versatility. Yeah, they're being. Also, Adidas is becoming very, very versatile, but you can thank Kanye for that. So, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I've seen
Yeah.
the shoes. Not a
Yeah,
big
you can thank Kanye for
fan,
that.
but yeah. So, what would you give to an upcoming stylist or personal shopper? And before you even answer the question of what advice would you give, how, because I know a lot of people will want to know, how does the personal shopper work as far as you behind the scene for the individuals or for your clients? What will a personal shopper, what does that entails, and what's the detail behind that? What does your day shopping for clothing look like?
So what I try to do, I like to kind of fit in the personality of the client. try to see what they're already comfortable with so that I don't go too far out of their comfort zone. I feel like sometimes it's about how the person wears the garment and how they fit inside of the garment. Because I could take you outside of your comfort zone and you might not like it. So it's going to show with you wearing that. So what I like to do is I kind of just look through the person's already kind of what they have. Now, some people are just free and open to wearing whatever. But a lot of people aren't comfortable with doing that, particularly guys. So I kind of just looked at their stuff and then just kind of upscale it and put my spin onto it. But also I try to make my clientele feel comfortable in what they have on as well. But if they're, free to go outside of the box, I'll definitely charge that to like channel that energy
Do
as
you
well.
do you do you also help your clients with because I know a lot of these clients, these NFL players,
Mm-hmm.
entertainers, musicians, they don't want regular brands.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Do you go out to the brands and you buy? Do you contract with them? Do you do all of that stuff? How does that look like when an
Okay.
individual like Jamari, or an NFL player comes to you and say, "Hey, I need you to be my personal shopper. I
Mm-hmm.
need you to be my stylist. I have this budget. Here it is. But I like this. I like that. I like this brand. I like that brand." How does that
Mm-hmm.
work?
So sometimes you can contract with people. I'll do that sometimes, a borrowed agreement. So which is basically like, let's say I go to Saks and Fifth and I tell them this is my client and we need this for X, Y, and Z. They'll do a contract agreement and it's a borrowed agreement where that person wears the clothes, but then they have to be returned. And if anything is damaged or whatever the case may be, those things have to be paid for by the client.
Hmm.
Um, or sometimes some people will just pay out of pocket for whatever it is if that's what they want. Um, but to get that type of stuff, of course, you do have to have a name. And if you don't have a name, it's going to be kind of harder to get that type of stuff. Um, but if they do want a specific designer, of course, they know they have to expand their budget. Or if not, I'll try to find something compatible with it. And they might not be a known luxury brand, but they're going to be a luxury brand just as well. It's just you're not going to pay $5,000 for one piece of clothing, and that could be, you know, you can get multiple with other there's other luxury brands. People are just stuck on like
The big
the ones
brand.
that are known, that are
Yeah.
common to everybody. But there's
What are some
several
brands that you
luxury brands.
use presently and ones that you will never use?
Some brands that I have used recently, Reese Cooper. Um, I recently found a new one. I can't think of their name off the top of my head right now, but they're more so like suits and like different type of stuff. They're more like they do like I don't know, it's just different. It's very different. I haven't seen any designers do that just yet. Also Romeo Hunt is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Um he's also a luxury brand. Um who else have I used? Amiri recently. Um who else? I've tried to get into some collabs with like Supreme. So those are kind of the main ones I've used currently, so to say, more so current. Oh, Pierre Moss. Pierre Moss is another one. Yeah, that's another one. Brands that I wouldn't use. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to put myself in a box. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't just use anybody. Because everybody has different stuff that they bring to the table.
That
Like,
they bring to the table, right? Right. That's
yeah. So
true.
I wouldn't say there's any brands that I wouldn't use, truthfully. Because I
Mm.
feel like that kind of just puts me in a box in a sense. Like, if I say I'll never use it, I don't know. I just I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just kind of,
Yeah.
you just never know. Like, I might use it. If they have
What
something that's cool.
What are some tips that you would give to individuals
Hmm.
when it comes to self-care, the way they style, the way they dress? Um, what's your pet peeve um, when it comes to individuals and the way they style or the way they dress? Give me that.
Um, I'm gonna start with the pet peeve. I would say my pet peeve when it comes to styling is people who are afraid of change, because then it's like, why did you hire me? You know what I mean? If you want to be in this one particular area, like if you don't see yourself growing, why did you hire me? That would be my only pet peeve, because I feel like you kind of just wasting your money in a sense.
I think
You
that's for
you
everyone, even for in my industry and in my genre. Clients will often come and they want you to help them start their business or branding or marketing.
Mhm.
And oftentimes they want you to do it the way they're comfortable in doing it instead
Mhm.
of opening their mind to the better way of
Yeah,
doing it.
broadening
And
their thought process.
right. And then sometimes what they'll do is they'll just go and do their own thing and come back and give it to you and expect you to round it off. And it's like, well, why did you use me initially? Why did you even come to me if you're not going to take
Right.
my advice? And so they end up being stuck where they are. And you just got to keep it moving. So it is what it
Mhm.
is. But yeah, that's good. So your pet peeve is that.
Mhm.
So what is it that you would recommend to individuals when it comes to self-care and styling? And I love style. I hate shopping. I don't know how you
Mhm.
do that. Shopping is not my thing, Zori.
I
I
love
prefer
it.
to get online and I will fly up a storm. I will get on my phone, and they always get me when I get on Facebook because I may see an outfit or something that I like, and I would prefer to buy it online. It comes in, and I get it because on a given day, I don't have time to go shopping. I don't like shopping.
You don't like looking in the store? Is that
I
what
am
you're
not that girl.
saying?
I go in, I need to get that one thing, and I'm out. I love grocery shopping more than I love clothes shopping. And I see the line, and it's like, why am
Yeah.
I buying these things just to stand in that line? It turns me off. I'm done. So, um, but I love to dress. I love how it makes me feel. I
Mhm.
love when I buy certain outfits or things that I put on, and you walk out, and it's a feeling of, oh, yeah, confidence, all of that. I love that whole style thing. So, what advice would you give to someone who may not know about style or just
Mhm.
in general? What's a
Um, Look at inspiration. So there's a lot of like inspiration fashion pages on Instagram. To name a few, I believe SS Style Community is one of them. Fashion Bomb Daily, um, Pearl Magazine is another one. There's several. Um, and then also Pinterest is another one. Like, if you have a particular style that you want to kind of change and get into, I would look at like Pinterest for inspiration. Now, me, I don't look on those things just because I feel like it kind of blocks your thought process of being creative. I think it kind of puts you in a box because then you try to mimic those things that you see. So I really don't look at those things. I kind of just go off the top of whatever I'm feeling. I don't really look at inspiration things, but for somebody who's just starting off in fashion, those are things I would recommend.
See, it's easy for you, Azora. You can say that. You just, when you have it, and it's creative and it comes natural to you. But for some
Thank
people,
you.
it just doesn't. It doesn't. I remember being in a place when I was younger, before I got to this age of loving fashion and whatever. I didn't know what to match. I was
Mm-hmm.
I was doing just black and browns and earth tones because they match.
They
Now
go.
I
That's another
explore a
go.
little. I never wore reds and yellows, no like bright colors and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
as I got older, I started doing that because I think my mind changed. I don't know. Someone says the colors has a lot to do with your personality and how you feel.
Right.
So it started to become a little bit more popping now. So yeah. So no, but that's great because I think I sometimes when I need inspiration, I will often like look for a specific style that I
Mm-hmm.
like and then go kick off of that. So I know what I'm wearing or I know what I'm trying to, the look that I'm trying to capture.
Go for it. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
um, I wanted to talk to you about now your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Azuri by 24. How did you come up with that name?
Um. Okay. So, um, originally my clothing line was actually called Fash Mob.
Mm-hmm.
And Fash Mob was like, I don't know, if he was into fashion, he was a part of the mob, then cool. Like, that was my thing. So how I had it was the S was like a money sign, which would be like the luxury part of it. And then, fashion and then the mob, like you're a part of the mob. Like we're a family. So that's originally what my clothing line was called. But then, later on in life, I found out I could not use that because it was somebody else already made a brand called that. So a lot of people would be like, I never heard of anybody with your name before. I've heard of Azaria. I heard of all type of stuff, but never Azari. So I was like, cool. I'm just gonna use my name. Like, never heard of it. It sounds expensive a little bit, so I'm just use it. So I use that. And then the meaning behind my name, it's a lot. So I was like, why not make a brand that
What is the meaning behind your name?
Um, it has a lot of different meanings. We would be here all day if I really went into it. I'm not gonna lie, but the meaning behind my name was one thing, and then the other part of it was 24 is 24 hours in a day. I used to
Mhm.
play basketball,
Right.
and Kobe Bryant was my favorite basketball player. He would use the number 24. Also, he has a whole thing. Actually, yesterday was Mamba Day, to be exact, and his birthday. So
Nice.
shout out to KB.
Shout
Um,
out.
what else? My birthday is also June 24th. It was
Mhm.
a lot of significance behind it. And I used to also play with the number 24. So it was just a lot of significance. I wanted something that, like, not necessarily about me, but like something that involved me in a sense. So
Yeah.
I kind of just incorporated it too, and then that's how I came up with Desire by 24.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
see a lot of people wearing your clothing in the sporting industry. And
yeah.
all of your clothing is unisex, so which means women and men can wear your urban clothing. Your
Mhm.
hoodies, your t-shirts, your shorts and stuff. Um, I love the colors. The
Thank
colors
you.
are popping. It reminds me of those those bands, you
Vans.
know, the marching bands.
Oh, Vans.
Yeah, that they may have at schools and stuff during
Mhm.
halftime when they're playing, and they usually have that color, the yellows and the stuff. It's really, I
Mhm.
like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
so the one that I really like and I wanted to show you was there's a cream. Is it a suit? A whole entire
Oh
cream
yeah.
red suit. That
Yeah,
is
so it's
like
like I
uh,
wanted to kind of create something that was
what was
I
your
actually created
inspiration for
it.
that?
So, it's crazy. I get so many people ask me that, but one day I was actually just designing and I was trying to put it together myself, but I could not sew to save my life. So I just decided to digitize it and take and like bring the idea to a manufacturer and have him create it. But how I came up with that, I wanted something that was just real comfortable, but also like very fashionable that you could
Right.
switch up. You know, you don't have to necessarily wear it together. You can wear it individually or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it was Valentine's Day,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to just do something that was just different that I never seen done before. So that's how kind of that came about.
I
And
love this. I just
you know,
love,
you can switch it up. You can make it
yeah,
girly. You can make it masculine. I tried
definitely. Put some
to,
heels
oh
on.
yeah, mhm,
Yeah, you can rock this in any which way. This is so
yeah.
nice. So, this now tell me about your clothing brand. Is it something that you're putting out to the public where they can continually just go in your store and buy? Are these like
Uh,
exclusive brand? Are you making it exclusive for just specific people? How are you
uh,
doing
no,
your
my brand. So
mhm,
everything is a certain amount of quantity,
mhm.
but everything is definitely exclusive. So it's more so like if you know, it's kind of like a one and done situation, just like shoes. You know, it's not going to re-release. Like whether that's why people are quick to kind of buy and it sells out quick because they know I'm not going to produce the same product twice. I just don't do that. I don't know. It kind of takes all the exclusivity. I think I pronounced that
Yeah.
right. Out of
No, that's good.
the creation. So yes, you can purchase it. If I'm not mistaken, I have one of those left and literally just one. But it's on
Wow.
my website. Everything that you see is a one-time drop. If you don't get it that go round, it's just
That's it.
I don't know. Yeah, that's it. I
It's
don't know
not a
what to tell
luck.
you. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Just
It's
out
gone.
of luck. I hear you.
So,
And you know what? And that's okay. I think what that does is make it a lot better for individuals. That's a great way of selling items. And depending on your fan, which you have so many different NFL players and entertainers that are jumping to get your clothing. That's an awesome idea. And it keeps people wanting more.
it's not just for them. It's for everybody. It's just they
Right.
just get to it a little quicker for some crazy reason. But I'm not complaining. Not
I
complaining.
hear
Not at
you.
all. Not complaining.
Yes, I
If I could
totally hear
touch
you.
every league, I would touch every single league. So
Yes. So
God
we're
willing.
going to go to the shout outs. This is
Okay.
the time where I'm going to mention all of the shout outs for anyone who has said hi or stuff. And also you
Mhm.
going to get to shout out whoever you want to. Um,
Okay. Cool.
mother,
Cool.
father, sister, brother, uncle, whomever. Um,
Mhm.
do that shout out. This is your time. Go ahead.
Shout out to God. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to my grandmother. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to my sister. And shout out to everybody who supports me in general. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If it wasn't for y'all, I would not be in this position. So thank you to everybody who wants to continue to see me grow and wants to see me do more. I appreciate y'all for real. Um, and yeah, shout out to Amari too, because Amari definitely gave me my start. Like he also plays a big role into this as well. So I'm grateful for him too.
I
Um,
remember that was like your first
he
major
was
client.
yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't my first major client, but he was my first major client. If you want to be
Yeah,
technical,
technical with that. Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Like
And
he
that
he
was good.
definitely put me. He's definitely put me in a lot of positions. Also, I want to see him win too. Like it's a very mutual respect between us. So
Yeah, yeah. You guys are friends.
definitely,
And
yeah.
it's
We
it's really good when you know each other and you can network together and that friendship can still stay friendship and business can stay business. and you guys can grow together as friends still.
Right. And
I love
business
that.
partners.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely want to
So
see him continue to succeed.
yes. So shout out to Amari Rogers, and now we have a shout out from Alston Automotive, Lefty. He said
What's
hi.
up, Lefty?
He
How
said,
are
great
you?
story, inspirational, continue pushing forward. Yes, he is watching and he says, hi. So that's your shout out for today. So we're going to continue with some questions. I have some really trick questions, and I wanted to ask you because these are like the trick ones that people kind of trip off of.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just I think you'll like them. First, if you can travel back in time on a fashion era, it doesn't matter which one. Where
Okay.
would you end up? Mhm. And what would you like about that specific period?
Um, I would go back to the '90s era and like the
Really?
early 2000s era. Yeah, like where the video vixens and yeah, and like the baggy clothes with the crop tops. I definitely would go back to that for
Wow.
sure. Because I
You
kind
like
of see
that.
that kind of peaking back again.
That's
I
my
see it
era,
coming back
girlfriend.
again. So
I love the
it's
90s.
cool. The '90s is cool.
Yeah.
Everybody was real natural, but it was also very high fashion, but it was
Yeah.
also very streetwear.
Very
So
streetwear.
definitely that.
Yeah, people weren't into the suits and the this now you can switch and yeah, you got to keep it real. But back in the days, yeah, with the big jeans and stuff, big
Mm-hmm.
t-shirt.
Like
Yeah.
the video girls had like the little mini skirts with the oversized belt with like crop top and like
Uh-huh.
it was just cute. It was just all cute. The Danny
Yeah.
purses. Well,
Oh,
that's more so
look
two
at
thousands.
you.
But yeah, that's a fire. That's really a fire area
That's
with
fire
fashion
right
to me.
there. Yeah.
It's very classic. So
What is your mentor? Who's your mentor? And would you name one or two? Do you have one, two? But if you do, what who is your mentor? Or do you
in
have any?
in business, I probably would say my grandfather. He tries to teach me as much as he can while he is here, and I try to soak up all information while I can.
Yeah.
Um, because I could learn a lot from him. You know, he's
Yeah.
definitely very successful.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really have a fashion mentor, truthfully.
Okay.
I
And it doesn't have to be a
no, I
fashion
really
mentor.
don't.
It could be just a mentor, because we sometimes have people in our life that really guides and steer us and gives us wisdom, just like you said, your granddad. It could be
Um,
anybody.
I take wisdom from anybody older than me who's already been through it.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
I try to soak up and listen to anything people who are older than me tells me because they've already surpassed me
Be
in
that
a
sponge.
sense. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
try to just kind of learn from everybody's mistakes and what they say doing not to do and what to do. I
Yeah.
try to kind of follow those guidelines in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what's next for Azori by 24? What's the next step for you? What's the next level? You've gotten
The
so far.
next level,
Yeah, because you've gotten so far. Is
next
this where
level
you
is
want to
just keep
stay?
pushing it. No, I want to, of course, be bigger. You know, I want to
Tell me,
eventually
what's
do
the next level that
collaborations
you're
with
pushing for?
like Nike or like Gucci or like just bigger collaborations with bigger brands
Yeah.
to be bigger, and then eventually like having one at like a Balenciaga fashion show where people pay to
Oh,
play and people want to
yes,
be there, and
yes.
like you got the biggest celebrities who want to sit front row because your brand is so big. So that's my
And
goals
sponsorship
right now.
too.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean in general,
yeah. It's a good
yeah.
thing. It really
Just
is.
collaborating with like,
Good.
you know,
Okay.
continue to make more networking, network with more people, entertainers, athletes, whatever, whoever is pushing the product. Have people feature my brand in songs because that pushes the product too. Just continue to networking, continue to growing, and just continue to reach higher heights. That's
Yes.
really my
Yes.
goal right
Yes.
now.
Yes. What are some experiences and lessons that stuck with you throughout this whole entire journey from beginning to end? I know there were things that were instilled in you as a child.
Quitting. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, but what was the one thing that I often hear my mom's voice pop in my head?
Mhm.
One of the things she told me when I came to the United States at age 15
Mhm.
was represent the family well.
Mhm.
And that to me meant a lot, not just in my representation of my family as my personal family, but my family in the church, my family as a friends, my just represent them well. And I've always tried to be that character that represents the people in my life
Mhm.
well. That was the one thing I would always hear. So in anything that I do, if I have to choose between right or wrong, or if I'm messing up, I'm like, okay, I got to get it together because I'm not representing them right. That
Um.
was my thing. What is yours?
Um. Not to never get in my own way for one. Be teachable. Um. Definitely, whatever I do, take in consideration who else I'm also representing, like how you just mentioned as well. Um. And just the main thing is not knowing it all. For me, just continue to be able to be open and to no matter how far you are in life, because you can always learn new things. So definitely just continue to be teachable, continue to be humble, despite where you are in your career. So those are kind of like the main things, and keep God first. Those are the main things that probably everybody around me has always instilled in me, and those are the things that kind of just stuck with me, and still stick with me to this day. So yeah, I would say those are the key factors for me.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self if you were to
Oh
go
wow.
back? I know.
I
No,
would
what
tell
would
my
you tell
18-year
your
olds,
14-year-old self? Your
man,
14-year-old self. Not
my
even 18
14-year-old
because
self,
it'll be too close. It'll be really tight.
14-year-old self, I would tell her
14-year-old self.
to be more decisive with choices.
Hmm.
Be more decisive. I think I've always had, and I always knew I didn't want to be a failure. So I could say that that's always been something on me, but also stay the course and don't be too hard on yourself. And definitely just, yeah, just be more decisive, truthfully speaking. Because I think I was very indecisive at 14. I didn't really, I knew what I did not want to do, and I knew I did not want to be a failure, but I knew I always wanted to be successful, but I wasn't sure how to do that, where to go about that. So yeah, those are the main things.
Okay. That sounds great. That sounds great. What is your favorite book?
Um, somebody just recently gave me a book too. I haven't read it yet, but it's about like being an entrepreneur and being young. Um, so I don't know. I can't tell you honestly. I don't know. I don't know, but
Yes.
I haven't read it yet. Truthfully.
Yeah, you should read that. That is really sometimes I think some people think they have arrived, and I think you've never arrived when it comes to your art. You're always learning. You're always
Correct.
trying to improve. And there are things that sometimes you may miss when you think you have arrived, that
Right.
later in life is needed. So just sharpen your craft. Always sharpen your craft. Always keep up with the latest trend, even if you got to go back and do some extra courses again, but always make sure your craft is on point. So, yeah, that's great. What is your favorite movie?
Loving basketball.
Loving basketball, really.
Yeah.
I thought any given Friday or something would be that.
Nope. I loving basketball for me.
Loving basketball. That's with Queen Latifah.
No, that's with
Is that
Sanaa
with
Lathan and Omar
um
Epps.
right.
Right.
Oh wow, you went back there. They
Yeah.
next door neighbors.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes. 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 Okay. That tells me a lot about you. So your whole life it revolves around sports. You like sports.
I started off in sports.
Really?
Yeah, I did
What were you
gymnastics.
playing?
I did gymnastics and I did basketball. Those are the main two sports that I played all throughout my life.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
was a competitor and I did competitive gymnastics and I did basketball like the majority of my life. From 7 to like 16, 17.
I just can't see basketball stylists. Basketball.
Oh no, trust me, I did a whole revamp.
360?
Yeah,
One of
literally.
those, like,
Hmm.
okay, I guess I'm gonna pick a feel.
No, but I always was known for fashion in school though. So I
Yeah,
mean, that's always been about me. Like I've always
yeah.
been that. It's just it's kind of day and night. Like the two personas is
You
definitely
pick
different.
the sports. You pick this fashion. You're like, okay, I'm gonna just stick with the fashion, but the
Yeah,
sport got left out. But you're still in the sports because here it is. You're styling for all of
yeah,
these NFL players and athletes from people who have gotten Olympic medals and stuff like that. So you're still in the arena. So that
of
tells me you
sports, right?
really do love sports. So is there anything you want to tell me? Anything that you, before we leave or get out of here, what are some things that you might want to say or tell us? Any upcoming events, any things that you might want people to know about?
Um, stay tuned. Just continue to follow me on the social platforms, and I definitely will update you guys on upcoming events. We're talking
Where
about
can
doing a
they find
fashion
you
show,
on the social
so
platform?
stay tuned for that. All designers around Columbus, huh?
Where can they find you
All
on the
designers
social
around the
platform?
oh, you can find me at Azari 2 underscores AZARIE and then 2 underscores, and then you can find my business page at AZARIEX24. So you follow me on those two platforms on Instagram, and those where you will see all the updates on styling, clothing, whatever, events, anything that I'm doing, I'm on there. I'm
Okay, and
on
they
there.
can also contact you at 803-620-4357 if they need to talk to you or reach out to you. And if they want to contact you through email, they can also reach you at Azori times 24 at gmail.com.
.com.
So
Right.
if you're interested in having Azori um, as a personal shopper, a stylist, or you just may want to try her clothes.
Shop the
As far,
brand.
yep, online you can go on her website. It's www.azori24
Mm-hmm.
.com. And you can check her out. She
.com.
has tons of
Yes.
things that you can buy that's comfortable for urban streetwear. So if you're into that type of stuff, this is the place to go. Check it out. Also,
Yeah.
like she said, there's a lot of stuff coming up. So you can also subscribe and sign up on her website for events and any new activity that may be happening with Azuri by 24. And that's it for today,
Yes.
girlfriend.
Thank you
I
for
am
having
so,
me.
yes, I am so thankful that you um were able to be on the interview because since you left me as my client, I missed you. You were my client for like
Oh.
3 years when we were working on
In COVID, yeah,
yes, in the COVID season,
everything.
and yeah, me helping you with the contracts and stuff. And I just love
Mhm.
how you were so determined, always pushing yourself to do more. And when you decided to go into styling for the NFL players and stuff like that, I was so happy for you. And I am still till today. You have proved
Thank you.
that it doesn't matter how old you are, as far as whether you're young, old, you can still be an entrepreneur and do things and be very
Right.
successful because you started in as a teenager and now you're 24, which is
Yes.
still way young, but you're doing it. And could you
Don't
imagine?
feel like it, but yeah.
But can you imagine in the next couple years where you will be? It's just an awesome thing. So
I'm
I just want
excited
you
for
to
it.
roll that out.
I'm really excited
Yeah.
for it.
And on top of it, what you do is you keep God first, which is what I keep hearing you say.
Absolutely.
He is the first in your life, and that's
It's
important as a
nothing but him.
single. Yeah, and as a single person, you can't go wrong with that. My mom
Mhm.
was always said you can't they can't knock you down if you're on your knees all the time. So
Right.
being on your knees, seeking God, nobody can knock you down. And they may try, but it won't
Right.
happen because you got God on your back.
Right.
So I thank you today, Azori. And for those of you out there
Absolutely.
who are listening, I just want you to remember to check out our website, BSF Design, www.bsf designs with an S, LLC.com, where you can get tons of business resources. You can also support us by going on our online shop page and purchasing some stuff, which goes towards the interview with the expert. You can also reach us at email, BSF with designs with an S at gmail.com, and our number 267 279 9348. And today we're going to also leave out with a great video about some of our summer clothing, which will be going on sale next week. So if you are listening to this, please check us out and check Azori out. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the interview. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.
All right.